and aggregation. Confirmation is when a cell that doesn't know itself makes a copy. Okay, and when it makes a copy, it divides. Okay, which is an electrical thing. We'll get into that in a minute too. But it divides. It becomes from one larger thing to two smaller things. That's division. That's confirmation because then the cell can look at itself and go, ah, that's what I am. That's what I am. Right? Has an outside objective influence on it. And really, DNA is amazing from the standpoint that it's basically the only thing on the planet anyway that can create perfect copies of itself. I find that amazing. I mean, if most of you are old enough to remember Xerox machines, where if you put a page on the Xerox machine, or the copier, I should say, right? Xerox is a branded term. Put it on the copier, spits out a replica, take that replica, put it on the copier, spit out another one, and just keep doing that. Pretty much, you're just going to end up having garbage, because even something like that can't produce exact copies, but DNA is designed to do that. It actually goes down the chain and unzips all of them and, does this number with it and that sort of thing. It's amazing. But that is the idea of confirmation, which is where you get the Vesica Pisces aspect of things, which we'll also go into. It's even scriptural. Encoded into the Bible. Vesica Pisces ended up becoming one of the early symbols for Christianity. It's just this part kind of flipped over and whatnot, but this has to do with the idea of confirmation. Okay, the other is aggregation. And this is where things begin to expand, they begin to grow. So you've got confirmation, which is this doubling, creates that Vesica Pisces. Then they begin to grow and they become their own things. All right, now you have two cells. If you want to go back to the cells, it happens everywhere. Yeah? So now you have two cells, and then they go through a phase of confirmation and aggregation, and confirmation and aggregation until you've got the entire human complex. All the cells in the body. Yeah, it only happens over 10-ish months, doesn't it? It's amazing to do all that. And by the way, you work that way too. As you're on an Eamon journey, you need to be aware of this aspect of confirmation and aggregation. Now we talk about know thyself, which was what it read above the Oracle of Delphi, Pythoness. By the way, there's that word again, the Pythonness. Anyway, know thyself really just means this idea of confirmation and aggregation. As you learn these things, go into a phase of confirmation first. See if it actually is in you or you can get there. And then once you've determined that it is or is not, if it is, then aggregate it. This is where you do your groundwork. Yeah. So confirmation is me telling you things that may or may not be applicable to your lives. Aggregation is when you go and expand on those. Then you can begin to go into this aspect of confirmation, aggregation, until you are a living embodiment of the laws, or until you are a living embodiment of an Eamon journey. Confirmation, aggregation. It's actually quite simple. Now, what I'm really saying in essence is that in order to effectively go on an Eamon journey, why not follow the laws that are already there in the universe? You can look at yourself and go, all right, confirmation, aggregation on a cellular level. Why not take that and apply it to your Eamon journey? And this is where instead of just addition and subtraction, which are the basic numerical aspects of something, like how many beans you have. Beans don't multiply. Well, they do actually if you give them an electrical environment, don't you? And you put a bean in the ground, then you've got multiplication or confirmation and aggregation. It aggregates into a plant and then it confirms itself by making new seeds and so on and so forth. But that's an electrical process. That's not a human shifting beans from one side to the other, which would be addition and subtraction. You know the old symbol, right? At least this is the way I learned it in school, which I think is much more appropriate anyway. That was the old symbol for division. Now we have computers and they prefer the forward slash. But this has to do with which one? That's the confirmation, right? There's a separation between as above, so below. That's why it had that symbol, because somewhere along the line, they understood that that was one aspect to it. Planet being in the ground and it needs sun, that's the aggregation, the solar cross. You know, they used to draw the sun like this, right? A circle with an X in it. That's called the solar cross. It's also the multiplication sign. That's the aggregation aspect to it. The confirmation aspect is the division, above and below, two things pulling apart.